So it's Saturday morning and we're going to do some work on Craig's truck today. So Craig likes lifting his truck, so he's raised the back. How have you raised the back, Craig? What have you done on the back there?
Purely a body lift at the moment.
Purely a body lift, so that's what we got. Come and show us, Craig, what we got.
All we've got at the moment is a 3H body lift, and this is plastic blocks here to lift the body
so
off the chassis.
lift it, okay. And you've done that, you've got that under the rear, what, there's 4 rear tub mounts, isn't there?
4 under the tub and 6 underneath the body itself.
Okay, so all the chassis ride in standard.
Yep.
So what we're looking at today is one of our new products. We've got the Strut spacers. Does that sound technical now? And we've got these, and this is the Mitsubishi Triton. And we've got these in 2 widths. So you can see this one is 25mm, and that one there is 32. Now these go between your shock absorber. If we have a look here, so as your strut, you've got a strut, there we go, yeah. So you've got your bottom arm coming along here, and then you've got your shock absorber there with the spring round it, and the top of that rests on the body. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a spacer there, which is going to push all this down, push the arm down, and lift the front of the car, which will give Craig a bit. One problem you got is wheel rubbing, isn't it? You've got it's close on this. Is it this back corner is closer?
Yeah.
So I've drawn a little diagram on Craig's car, and what we've got at the moment, so you've got your pivot point, and this is your lower arm that goes like this, and this is your wheel. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a little spacer at the top here, at the top of the strut, which is going to push this from being standard there to down there. Now the reason I've done this drawing is that if we space this 25mm here, you can see it moves this bit down 25, but it actually has a bigger effect in terms of lift. And we think, depending on your suspension setup, but it's about a 3 to 1 ratio. What do you reckon, Greg? 25 will give
75mm lift.
75. So it's you can see so although it's only a little 25-inch space, it's actually going to lift the truck at the front 3 inches. So sorry if we're mixing between millimeters and inches here. So Craig's measured up to the underside of this arch from the floor before we start, and that's 37 inches. So we're going to see what that goes up to afterwards. Right, what we're going to do first then, Craig, we're going to undo the top strut mounts?
Yep.
Right, let's get ready. Okay, so we've come around the side of the vehicle. Now, on Craig's car, he's done this body lift, so we've got a little bit more of a gap here. For you guys, it's probably going to be a little bit tighter. And what we're going to undo is these 3 nuts at the top. They're 14mm. So let's undo those. You're showing off how much clearance you got by using the extended spanners, Craig. Extended ratchet. Deep breech socket. They got copper grease on them. You had those off already?
I might be prepared, yeah.
So other than this, your truck's stock at the moment, suspension. You haven't changed the springs.
Haven't changed anything. Nope, it's all the same.
And obviously with the body lift blocks, you get whatever the lift you get on your body is the same as the spacing of the. It's only these that have got a funny ratio thing going on.
Yes, yeah.
And the spring shackles at the back, if you do those, they've got a funny ratio going on as well.
They do, yeah. You got to account for the existing shackle, and then plus whatever.
Yeah, but it's a ratio as well, isn't it? Because it's at the back of the spring. Yeah, it's all too complicated. Right, there we go. Right, do you want a jack? So we've got the jack under the chassis down there. Let's jack up and let's see how much. So at some point we think that's going to start just leaving the coil behind, and the body's going to just keep going up, we reckon, do we?
Yeah.
And we got enough. How much length are we going to need here?
You're going to run out of jack.
Oh no, he's lifting the wheel now. So we're not doing anything. That's surely enough if it's lifting the wheel, Craig. You reckon it's just stuck in there? Right, let's have a think. How are we going to get that out? Okay, so we're having a bit of fun here. So in order to get the enough suspension travel, what you're going to need to do is take your wheel off. So we've taken the wheel off. Okay, you've got to undo the 3 bolts. They were 12mm, weren't they, Craig? Yeah. which are on your upper arm up here. So there's 3 bolts there, which releases the hub. You can see the hub has come forward. We've also taken out the joint on the lower anti-roll bar, the little, what do they call that link there? Drop link, that's it. We've undone that one, and then we've undone the bolt that goes through the middle. And what that is, here, do you want to give a demo, Craig? Do you want to show that that's got our, we got the whole sort of, he's jammed himself in, up again there. Is he jammed on?
Yeah,
it.
so.
But now we've got enough clearance now up here to get the thing in. So right, you grab the camera, Craig. You have a look what I'm doing. So what we're going to do first of all, now you're going for the 32s, aren't you, Craig? That's
yes.
Right. Now, we can undo these nuts, but getting this in, if you have a look, is going to be tricky because we've got to get it over there and over there. So what I reckon is if we put the nuts on there, make sure you got the nuts on or you'll damage the thread. And tap those, and they'll become. Oh, we've got that one. We've got that one loose. Well, let's get those other 2. That's it. That's it. Right, I'm going to just put a bit of tape on the bottom of these, and then take these nuts off, and I think that will make it a little easier to get that in. I think we'll squeeze that in. So let me go and put some tape on the underside to stop them falling out. We'll have a look at that. Okay, so what you can do is you can squeeze it in. We've got those with the nuts down, the bolts down, the bits of tape on there will take off on there. The little trick we had was if you rotate the strut, you can sort of screw it has a sort of screw effect that gives you a bit more length down here. We've actually had to take the track rod end off as well. So it's quite a big strip down job on the front suspension, but we've got that in now. I don't think it's worth videoing bolting it back up. We'll bolt it back up before we put the wheel on. We'll show you it all back together, and then we'll lower it down and let you see what it looks like. So we've got the spacer in now and we've bolted it up. Don't forget, you've got to bolt the nuts up that are inside with the old nuts going onto the old studs inside here. The other thing we've had to do is rotate the strut because they're sort of out of phase by let's get this right, about 60 degrees. What we've had to do is rotate the strut, and now the brake joint is at the front where it used to be at the back. So you're gonna have to make just a cable tie or something to keep the brake pipe out of the way of the strut as it moves. Bolted that up, so we're just going to put all the rest of the suspension joints back together now. But it's starting to come together and look good. And that's just the second side all back up together now with the spacer in, 32mm spacer. So we're ready to put the wheels on, drop it down and measure the new distance and see how much that has raised. So at the moment of truth, we're measuring it. Up to the bottom of that is now 40 and it was 37. So the 32mm spacer has given us 75mm or 3 inches of lift at the front. So let's just zoom out a minute, Craig. So what was the body lift on that truck again?
3 inches.
So you got 3 inches body lift now. No, sorry, 3 inches of suspension lift and 3 inches of body lift. So you think that's sitting now 6 inches higher than a standard truck at the front?
And as you might notice, the arches, there's no tilt. Most trucks are pivoted. It's taken that away. See?
Wait, but what about the back? You haven't lifted the back though? Yeah.
The back's 40 inches.
The back's 40 inches. But have you got any shackles or anything on the back? So there's nothing on the back.
So it's leveled the truck out perfectly.
It's leveled the track. Okay, interesting. So we've raised. Brilliant. So there we go. That's the suspension lift on the Mitsubishi L200 or Triton.